Welcome to the podcast where we talk about the things that are hidden in the shadows. This is Isaac.
And this is Megan.
And today we're going to talk about the horrors of the deep.
Yep. So we're going to be talking about, it can be any bodies of water. So it's not just the ocean. It could be lakes, rivers, caves with water.
You're talking like we're giving an assignment to somebody. It could be more than this. It could be that.
Well, I did want to be a teacher in my younger days. Just kidding. Actually, no, that's actually accurate. I did, but...
Well, the main thing you wanted to talk about was mermaids.
Mermaids, yeah. Like, I'm not like one of those people that are like, I want to be a mermaid. But actually, when I was a kid, I did, because I loved water so much. So I used to think that I was a mermaid. Mm. But I find them super interesting because... it's super hard. It's like one of those concepts that you're like, it's kind of far-fetched, like, to believe that they're real. But then at the same time, there's also evidence, that has come up that is fishy.
Stupid.
No, but that shows there's something, because that's the thing is, I know, like, with the mermaid thing, I don't think they look how they're portrayed in movies and everything like that. And so, like, I was looking, and I know there was that show Siren, right? Which I think is interesting that another word for a mermaid is siren.
Because they have their siren's call, which is a call that they would give to sailors to draw them in, and then they would,
so weird. Anyways,
crash onto a rocky shore somewhere and kill them.
No, but they always paint the mermaids as like these beautiful creatures and stuff like that. There's only been a few TV shows and like movies that have depicted them as like more of a possibility of what they could look like. And that siren, I noticed her skin because I was like, they always give them like human skin, but when you're in water, your skin doesn't stay, it gets pruny. So that would make me believe that there's a possibility that if you live in water and you have to adapt to water, there's got to be a difference in skin. Like, your skin would not survive a long time in water.
You never saw that, if it was real or not, that documentary thingy that was on Discovery Channel?
Mm-mm.
About mermaids?
I think I kind of saw bits and pieces about it.
Only aired once. Never aired again.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
So if you saw it, you saw it. If you didn't, try finding it on YouTube, I guess. Maybe someone recording and put it up there.
Yeah.
But the whole premise was it was actually on Discovery Channel, and they were talking about it in a scientific way, and almost like they discovered species of mermaids, and they were describing how they came about. And essentially was when man, early, Homo sapiens and stuff like that, when we were in an evolved state, some of us stayed to land and some of us actually went to water. And we lost our fur or hair, right, over time, because all the water use, we didn't need it, in a sense. Yeah. Our bodies and skin got used to being in cold water and stuff like that. And our skin started becoming more smooth, kind of like dolphin-esque, right? Mm-hmm. They handle and denser and harder to handle the deeper ways like that. Our lungs changed. We gained able to breathe underwater for a longer period of time, right? Mm-hmm. And our legs started to go together because if you swim properly, you're not using two legs, you're using one, right? So they kind of molded together over time. Evolution, you would say. If mermaids evolved the same way man did, then they evolved on the water as we evolved on land.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the sirens chick, like, cause I posted a picture of it on our Instagram stories, but if you look really closely at her skin, you can see scales. And I thought that was interesting that they depicted her. And I almost like her face is a little bit different. Like almost, like how a fish kind of has like the eyes on the side of their head. Mm. Like their head is not like ours where the eyes are together. It's on the side. And so hers is kind of an in-between of that, which I thought that's interesting. But yeah, no, I've seen, what was I going to say? Oh, there's an episode of River Monsters, where the woman actually believed, I forgot what country they were in. It was like maybe a South American country or maybe somewhere like the Philippines. But she really believed that her husband, because fishermen were going missing and dying. And she truly believed that her husband was killed by a mermaid. Mm. Or they call them water mamas.
Depending words for them, I guess.
Yeah. There's probably, and it's crazy because the very first show or TV depiction of a mermaid was in 1911. So we've been talking about mermaids since 1911.
Earlier, there's actually paintings and depictions of it in like early Japanese lore as well.
Really? That's interesting. But yeah, that's what I mean. That
in China and stuff like that.
Maybe that wasn't even South American. It could have been even like an Asian country.
Even medieval
Thailand,
times.
Something like that.
Medieval tapestries. They have pictures of mermaids.
Wow.
It goes back a long way.
Yeah, I knew it went further back. But the fact that, like, we were even talking about it in movies and stuff, like 1911, like, in movies and shows and stuff, that's crazy.
I mean, it's kind of been the thing that's kind of to put there. But, going back to that documentary thing I was talking about, how their hands got webs. And actually, humans have webs in our fingers. Yeah. Right? So it came from some evolution of that, of able to swim in water, but not to the extent that the mermaids did, right? But there's a lot of weird things that go with, could mermaids be evolved from human, or same ancestors as humans did? In a sense of how there's actually, I don't remember where it was or where it is. It's off a coastal island country or something like that. Mm-hmm. But every year, dolphins and fishermen work together. The dolphins push all the fish into the coastline as the fishermen capture nets, right?
Oh, wow.
And they work together. These dolphins aren't trained. These dolphins, they could be random. They could be the same ones from the previous year. Who the fuck knows? But they work together. And then the fishermen give the dolphins, some fish that they captured as well.
Oh my gosh.
And they've been doing this for decades.
Wow.
So they work together. So dolphins could recognize humans as other mermaids in the water that they deal with.
Oh wow, that would make.
But
whoa, that's a mind blowing kind of.
Yeah, but out of that documentary, whether it's true or not, whether it's real, some people say it was fake, some people say that it could be real. The footage in it is fake or something. Regardless, the only thing that was 100% true. Now the whole thing was the recorded signal or recorded underwater microphone thing that the naval captured. Even the whaler, people who protect whales and stuff like that, captured it. It's called the bloop, right? Essentially what they call it.
Oh, like when it goes. Oh.
Well, when they sing and stuff like that. But what they recorded was a different tone. Oh. It was a higher pitched tone that sounded like singing underwater as well. And it didn't belong to whales. And
weird.
No marine biologists, whatever, can identify it.
Wow.
They think it's a new form of a dolphin or do something like that, or mermaids or whatever you want to call it. But that's the only thing that I remember out of that documentary that's 100% true, because you can go look it up and find it and actually they talk about it.
The way that I kind of like wrap my head around it is, like how people say with space, they argue when you talk about aliens and stuff like that and other species, not species, but other life forms, in space. They say, well, it's, there's so much undiscoveredness in space. We can't be the only thing out there or in space. So I feel like that's the same thing with the ocean, because only 85% of the ocean has not even been discovered, researched. Like, imagine going down all the way down.
Which brings me to my next point. The Mariner's Trench.
I think I kind of know what that is, but then not
the deepest part of the ocean.
Oh, okay.
The deepest.
Ugh. I was reading about different creatures, too, that were down there. Like, there's apparently a vampire squid, which is like they call it a squid, but it's not even a squid. It's like from the same family, but not really. And it has these long, like, fang things.
Prehistoric animals that existed in prehistoric times, they thought would be extinct, could possibly still be down in the ocean areas and spots that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
Hell, the Megalodon
Oh my god.
shark has been spotted. We thought that thing was extinct.
That to me is crazy because I watched that scene in that movie because I didn't actually see the movie, but I saw that thing where the little girl
that movie?
Yeah.
Based on it? Yeah.
And then she's playing in this big, shark. She's literally, it shows you just how massive. Which that was a very kind of clever shot from the director or cinematographer. Because it shows the audience just how big this creature was.
Oh, Maglons, they hunted blue whales.
I know. That's crazy. But there was a thing that came out a couple months ago, maybe. Fishermen caught this great white shark. And it had a bite chunk taken out of its head. And someone was like, holy crap, for something to have bit the head of the shark, it was still alive. It was like a wound. But the fact that it had to be something very big.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And then there was another case where literally I don't know how the shark was still alive, but a chunk was taken out of the shark's body. You could see the teeth marks and everything.
Yeah, there's stuff down there.
Weird.
Now, Mariner's Trench, it's the tallest building in the world and tallest mountains of the world can be stacked upon each other, and they still wouldn't reach the bottom of it.
Wow.
Right? We don't know the actual how deep it goes because we don't have any machinery or any vessels that can go that far before the pressure just crushes it to pieces. Now, we've been at the bottom of the Atlantic and, Pacific and most oceans, but Mariner's Trench itself, it goes so far deep that we can't go all the way down. Some say it goes all the way to the core of the earth.
That's interesting.
Or it goes far enough down that it's just above the mantle, I guess.
Wow.
You see underwater volcanoes and stuff like that. But, what if you believe in him? Many believe what's down there is Cthulhu.
What's Cthulhu?
You know how Cthulhu is?
I have no clue what Cthulhu is.
H.P. Lovecraft's creation, Call of Cthulhu. Anyway, he wrote a story about these ancient beings called the Old Ones or the Old Gods or something like that. Ginormous, basically we're ants to them.
Jeez.
God creatures things, right? And Cthulhu, right? It's like his head was almost like an octopus, or his face has tentacles and stuff like that. His body's very creature-like. He's got claw hands. He's got giant wings, like bat wings.
Oh my gosh.
Where he wrote is if a human ever looked upon him, they would go insane.
Weird.
Anyway, and Cthulhu is not evil or good because they don't see humans as anything more than an insect on the ground, just get out of the way, right?
Oh yeah.
Like how we see ants, we see them as pests in a sense, but same way it goes like that. But they say something that massive. It's a story that H.P. Lovecraft created, but some people actually believe that it actually was real, or he is real, and then H.P. Lovecraft used it as a story. There's a whole bunch of crap to it, but they think that he's down there.
Yeah.
In the Mariner's Trench, and if we go down there and we disturb something, right? Say we're drilling and mining or something, look for things closer to the earth and stuff like that. We wake him up.
Ew, that's a scary situation. They should make a movie out of that.
It kind of did.
Really?
Underwater? Did you ever see that?
Oh, that's what that was based off of?
Well, you didn't know that till the end.
Ah, interesting.
Spoiler alert for everybody. No, Underwater, Kristen Stewart and
I know. I saw you watching that, and I was kind of zooming.
They were drilling close to near the Mariner's Trench in the bottom of the ocean, and I guess they got too far down. They woke something.
Ew. Speaking of which, though, as much as I love the ocean, it also kind of fears me.
Well, for the longest time, I had a phobia.
Yeah, he had a phobia. He couldn't go to the beach. We didn't go to the beach this year. In the summer, we live literally as far to the east coast as you can almost get of North Carolina.
Yeah,
we're about technically we're about 15 to 30 minutes away from the beach, depending on, and we have it all around us. So that's why, We actually just
would be a lot closer if the Marine base was in the way.
Yeah. Well, we actually had a hurricane a couple days ago. Wouldn't it be weird? I always thought they kind of, I didn't really like how they did it, but they kind of did a movie kind of based off that, but I always said I thought it was crazy, like, when you have the flooding and stuff from hurricanes and stuff, like, what if, like, weird creatures came through from the sea in? They had it where, like, that, like, alligator thing came through.
Or sharks.
Yeah, because we have swamps around this area.
Yeah, I've never seen an alligator, though.
Yeah, there was one down the street.
Like,
it stopped traffic. And then apparently, there was...
like Florida.
We had... I always a running joke that I used to always tell my mom is I used to hate going by, like, really weird, like, swampy type water. Because I used to joke and say anacondas lived in there. Like, big-ass snakes that will grab you. And, you know, a couple of years ago, a lady was walking her dog because there was, like, there's trails around and then there's that big kind of, like, water part in the center. And the dog kind of got loose from her. And this huge, like, it was, like, I think a record or something, alligator ate the husky. Like, ate it. Isn't that crazy? Like, that could be a small child. It was, oh my god.
Well, there's creatures of the deep, you would say, like that. And then that's how you evolve around the ocean. Lakes have their own.
Yeah. Rivers, like the Loch Ness Monster.
It's more of a lake.
Lake, yeah. But, I don't know, like, I don't know. Lakes and rivers freak me out a little bit. Like, I don't know why I'm so, okay, like, I'll go swim in the ocean. But when you start putting me in, like, lakes and rivers, I'm, like, super weary. I guess because the whole idea when I was a kid, I thought, like, anacondas for some reason. And so, like, even to this day, I have, like, that back mind thing of anacondas being in there. I don't know.
I mean, there's weird diver stories I've heard, too, of divers going down in the ocean-wise and see how far they can go and stuff like that. There's one I read. I don't know what the fuck. It didn't make any sense. He was in Australia off the coast somewhere, right? And he was about, I don't know, 100 meters deep, if not a little more. But far enough to see the bottom in the area of where they were. I don't know the exact area. But he said he saw something that looked like black carpet.
Ew. But
it was real furry. Like fuzzy carpet, right? Mm-hmm. And he said, it must have been like some kind of plant growing there. So he got closer and shined his light on it. And the second he did, the carpet kind of like moved away, right? Mm-hmm. And they said it looked like black carpet, but it moved like ink.
Ew.
Yeah. Who the hell it was. I was like, what the?
Well, like, here's the thing, too, is tying the paranormal world into, like, the ocean, the water.
Oh, those ghost stories of ghost ships and stuff.
Ghost ships, yeah, there's ghost ships. There's even, like, I forgot where I read it, and I forgot the story behind it. But there was, like a, kind of like a La Llorona character that used to, like, haunt a river, and would lure people into the river. The
La Llorona character goes all across the world. She's not just in Mexico.
Yeah.
La Llorona, in Mexican culture, or even Spanish culture, I think, she basically drowned her children in the river.
Okay, so it just
and you hear her crying and calling for them next to the river and stuff like that at night, if you're a kid anyway. And if basically the legend goes, she grabs you, she's going to drown you. Right? That's why my mother used to give me that crap all the time when I was a kid. To scare the crap and me go to bed. But no, she's called a wailing widow, a wailing woman in Ireland. England has a somewhat same kind of concept. Where else did I hear it? Canada has their own version of it as well. But the paranormal, when it comes to the ocean and stuff like that, it seems that any lighthouses or what do you call it? Like ocean towns, right? Or beach towns. Especially ones where they had battles and stuff like that with dead bodies and stuff like that. I just imagine what, like, the hauntings at Normandy are like. Well, you can hear at the end, like, at night.
Well, like, too, you got the ghost stories of, like, the battleships, too. Like, for instance, the USS Wilmington, which is, I've been on, you've been on.
Yeah.
And it's creepy as hell going on.
Yeah, it was cramped.
Yeah, it's very cramped, but me being a sensitive, like, I know, like, it freaked me out, like, the residual, I guess, energy kind of on it. And they've actually, like, ghost hunters, I think it was ghost hunters, actually did an investigation on them on there. Because I remember it was a big deal, you know, like, ghost hunters coming to town and thing. But, I totally forgot this. And, but there's even been, like, pirate ships and stuff with ghost encounters, like the Flying Dutchman.
Where's Davy Jones' ship?
Yeah. No.
Yeah. The Flying Dutchman is Davy Jones.
No, the captain is Van der Decken.
The Flying Dutchman is Davy Jones.
Oh, yeah,
ship.
it is.
That might have been his name before he died.
When I hear the Flying Dutchman, I think of the SpongeBob episode.
Oh, yeah.
Who's bothering on me ship?
No, the legend of Davy Jones is to tell that sailors tell themselves that he's basically like the Grim Reaper in a sense of the oceans. Yeah. And the Flying Dutchman is a ship he takes you to hell.
Oh yeah, okay. Davy Jones' locker, all of that stuff. Yeah. Interesting.
Take you down to Davy Jones' locker.
Oh yeah, he was in. Was he in Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yes! Tentacle face.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Remember stabbing the heart to become part of the ship, part of the crew?
Yeah.
The whole thing?
Well, no, even, I mean, if you take, like, if you want to take ghost, water, whatever, there is even a lot of, like Blackbeard over here.
Yeah.
The city of Bath, North Carolina. Like, there's tons of, like, piratey. I mean, they kind of play up the whole pirate, like the.
Well, we went to the museum in Beaufort.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely the islands over here, little islands, the Outer Banks, and all that stuff. They definitely have some paranormal stuff.
Is that really
Roanoke Island and all that?
Oh yeah. If you don't know the story of Roanoke Island, it's basically was the original settlement that Christopher Columbus put with a bunch of settlers of Roanoke Island, which is not off the shore, not far from here.
No, I think it's like 2-hour ferry ride.
Yeah. And he left them there. He came back a year later, right? And the entire village was gone. Yeah. Everyone was gone. And the thing is, it wasn't like it was destroyed and like the house was burned down and it looked like people had been gone for like months. No. Shit was all still there, like they just left a week ago.
Weird.
And they were just gone. There was nothing like broken or smashed in or anything like that. It just disappeared.
Weird. Well, here's
the only clue was the name of a tribe scratched into a tree. Indian tribe, the local Indian tribe nearby.
Yeah.
So they went to investigate them, but apparently they didn't know shit, so.
And that's crazy, because, like, I mean, any Indian tribe could have been defensive in that time, but I remember, because we had an actual, because I went to school in North Carolina, and
Scratch-a-tome,
yeah, but they actually did, because North Carolina has a lot of Native American background. Mm-hmm. We have Cherokee, and then the
Scorpion.
Yeah, I forgot. It's basically the Indian tribes that lived on the coast. Mm. And they weren't very aggressive. I mean, they're probably defensive, obviously, but so they weren't a type of tribe that would go and like pick a fight in a sense.
No, I was just trying to remember that there's a place in Portland, Oregon, or Seattle area, between the two areas, what they call Dead Man's Cove, right? Where countless ships have crashed and sank there, and thousands of men have died.
Wow.
And it actually was an influence for H.P. Lovecraft's one of his books.
I had to read about this guy.
He's interesting to read. One of the original horror authors.
Yeah, I know. I don't do much reading. I know that sounds bad. It's funny because I wanted to be a writer, but I don't do much reading. Ha ha ha.
But no, I remember Ghost Adventures. They investigated the area. A lot of scary shit.
Really?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of, like, weird... Because lighthouses, too. That's another thing. Lighthouses, like the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse over here. Apparently that's haunted. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's a lot of ties with water, I think. You know, with the paranormal. Not just, like, you got weird creatures and, like lores and legends of weird, like the Loch Ness Monster, but you also have the whole ghostly things going on.
I mean, there's countless stories of sailors hearing whistling while they're out there in the middle of nowhere.
Well, you know, but at the same time, too, I wonder if, like, psychologically, like, when you're out there, I mean, if you've done it for years, because there's, like, fishermen that have done it for their whole life, you know, it's a family tradition, like their grandfather did it and their father did it, that kind of thing. But I wonder if, like, when you get out there, like, I always think about, like, when, like, the naval ships are actually out there, like, when there's nothing but ocean and you're going, whoa. Like, someone that's not used to that, when they go out there, I wonder if it almost kind of drives them a little bit insane.
Hey, it's not never happened.
Yeah, because, like I know I would be very weirded out, like, because before me and Isaac got together, I had thoughts of joining the Navy, and that was one of the things that I weighed in my head was, like, I don't know if I could handle that. Being put out in the middle of the ocean and just seeing... Because there's I forgot what movie it's called, but it's the new one with Tom Hanks where he's, like, a naval captain. And it was, I think... Greyhound, yes. And they were out there and you could just see, like, the sea. And I was just like, geez, I don't know if I could...
Well, being on a ship is one thing because you're above the water. But, I mean, a submarine is a whole different thing because you're underneath it.
Yeah. Weird.
Which, amongst the other things that most people find is besides ghosts and creatures in the water, aliens.
Really?
A lot of people see alien ships flying around and shit. Weird lights in the sky. They can't freaking...
In the ocean?
In the ocean.
Weird.
Yeah. Right, especially around the most, I guess it's whoever's listening is probably like, when are you going to get to it? When are you going to get to it?
What? I think I know what you're talking about.
The Bermuda Triangle.
Yep.
Which is not all far where we live, which I was like...
Really?
It's not very far. If you go off the coast, go directly east, you can run into it.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Weird.
Which I was surprised about that too. I thought it meant like it's close to like South America somewhere, but
yeah,
no, it's right off the coast of us.
Weird.
Yeah. No, the Bermuda Triangle or Devil's Triangle or different names it gets. I forgot where I read it or what was it part of, but there's some urban legend or some weird saying. I don't know where it's from. I can't remember where it's from, but I remember the saying is that there are 3 gates to hell. Mm-hmm. One in the ocean, one in the ocean, one in the mountains, one in the ocean, one in the desert, and one in Jerusalem.
Really?
Yeah. And they say the gate to the hell is they talk about that's in the desert is in Africa. Mm-hmm. So mostly the Sahara Desert. The one they say that's in the ocean is the Bermuda Triangle, right? Mm-hmm. And then when they say it's in Jerusalem, who the fuck knows? But yeah, they always talk about there's 3 gates to hell on earth, and those are the 3 places that they are. Where they're vague, they don't say the exact location, they say that's the 3 places where they are. So they gave the place to Jerusalem. They say the holy city is what they say the 3rd one is. But that could be any considerable city. But most people think Jerusalem because that's,
God,
the Mecca in a sense. But Bermuda Triangle in the ocean had so many weird things happen there. Countless plane crashes, obviously, right? Countless shipwrecks, right? And in planes that fly over that are they're all their dials and stuff, and they go crazy and shit. They can't like understand the compasses run different directions.
Weird. Shows you there's so much stuff out there that's like bigger than our minds. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it says we've explored more space than we have the ocean.
Yeah. 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 I can.
Because there's always new species being discovered in the ocean.
Yeah.
Because there's so much damn space of it.
Yeah.
We're majority water, this whole planet. And, you know, the small amount of land creatures that you've discovered over time, and us being here, of course, we dominate the land. And then, what about the civilizations that could have been existing in the water right now? Excuse me. Like Atlantis.
Your body's really beating yourself up.
What?
This guy has been expelling gas from...
I don't know. Just one day, like, I'm real gassy. I think most days I'm real gassy. But today's real gassy day.
Thankfully, he hasn't let any loose recently.
You said it!
Oh my gosh. The last one freaking smelled like farm animal and bowel movements.
Alright, you don't have to get mean about it.
I'm not being mean about it. I'm stating the facts.
Whatever. I'm trying to talk about spooky shit. Shit.
Oh my god.
Anyway. No, Atlantis. They think we found it.
Oh yeah, I remember my dad. My dad's like a huge history buff. So he went on a 2-hour lesson and like backstory about that.
No, we found these like statues of like Olympic gods and stuff like that, and pillars and stairways go up to this palace, all underwater. That originally, of course, was above.
Yeah.
Right. Now, either sank there or water levels over time just arose and basically engulfed it. But
interesting.
Where it could have been.
Mm-hmm.
But the legend of Atlantis goes that it's one of the greatest cities that ever existed that was swallowed by the ocean.
Well, the crazy thing is, and this is what I also think with space, is when you start kind of messing with stuff, right? Like, is that going to stir things up? Because like anything, even in the paranormal world, if you start messing and provoking and doing stuff like that, stuff happens, you know?
Are you talking about like Aquaman and the rest of the Atlanteans come and get us or something?
No. I'm talking about like what you said, like digging in the Mariner's Trench.
Oh, yeah.
And then that happens. And so...
If we get down there.
Yeah.
It's funny, we don't really care about going down. We care a lot about going up. Right? We don't really give two shits about how far we can get down in the ocean. We care about how far we can get in space.
Yeah.
Which if we could build, I don't know, vessels or things that can like houses that can actually like, hell, even cities on the ocean, right? That's a whole nother, we call it real estate that could be used.
Yeah. Would you want to live under the water?
On it? Or
under
under
it?
it?
Under it.
On it? Yes, under it now.
I don't know if ugh. Because like...
Pull a Bioshock or something.
I don't know. I always get freaked out. Like, have you ever seen those like cabins that like float on lakes?
Yeah.
That freaks me out.
Mm.
I would not want to be there. Excuse me. Sorry.
It better be a dry cough and not a Rona cough.
Oh my god. Yeah, my allergies have been just like...
Yeah, I don't blame the allergies.
It's getting that time of year.
Yeah.
Where everything gets stirred up, and then you got the hurricanes.
Of all times you went to the beach and that you never heard anything weird? Or saw anything?
No, and I actually lived at the beach.
Were you ever at the beach at night?
Yeah. I was also at the beach at like the butt crack of dawn.
Mm.
Like real early. Yeah, I actually lived at the beach for about a year and a half when I was young. First grade, I think, so I had to be like 6. Yeah, we lived on a little like condo thing. And it's funny because we lived on one of the beaches that had one grocery store. It was just like a golf course, and that was it, and beach houses. Now it's built up so much, like, I could just imagine the price difference from when we lived there to now. Like, probably tripled. But, no, I'm trying to think if I ever had any weird situations at the beach. Mm-hmm. No, you know what though? It never fails. Every time I don't know if it's, I don't know, I always fall asleep at the beach. I remember one time I fell asleep at the beach. It's so burned. Like.
I remember that.
No, this was another, okay. Shows you I burn a lot.
Yeah.
No, there's one time I fell asleep and I got so, oh my God, I got so burned, even like the bottom of my butt cheeks. Like, oh my God. Oh my God, it was so bad. It was so bad. I mean, I had a nice tan afterwards because I'm the type that I burn and then tan. That's.
No, I remembered something, this guy I knew, where I worked construction. I worked there for a year. I met a lot of people. But the main guy I work with, Kenny. I remember I forgot how the subject of the ocean came up, but I basically talked about how I had that phobia. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Oh, you, me, both, brother." I'm like, "What were you talking about?" I was like, "Well, yours is mental, whatever, like that." But he said one time when he went to the beach when he was a kid, something came up, swam behind him, knocked him down. He didn't see what it was, but ever since then he ain't going back in there.
Oh my gosh!
He said, "There's too much shit in there that will get you, so I ain't going back in."
That is true. Like, and they also too, like, recently they did. Well, last year they had the skin eating bacteria.
Yeah.
Then this year they had an advisory for
we got the coronavirus going on.
No, but they had the advisory for what was Manor Wars, the jellyfish that like
the giant ones.
Yeah. Like they were washing up on our shores. Oh shit. Not my cup of tea.
I've never seen jellyfish. Well,
I have. I've seen a bunch
tanks,
of dead
obviously, in aqua.
No, I've seen dead ones, like, wash up. I've never been stung by one. I have been pinched by a crab, though. Yeah. When we lived at the beach, we would go to the beach a lot, like, and I remember I picked up a crab because I thought it was dead, just the shell, and then it was like, crunch, and bit my finger. Pinched it.
This is your horrors of the deep.
No, like I said, I haven't really had, like, and I've been on, like, because there's a lot of, like, I remember one field trip, well, crazy thing is, one field trip we had, because that's the one thing I have to say is North Carolina school field trips were bomb. Like, they were really good. Like, I'm so upset that, like, this whole coronavirus, like, the fact that kids don't get to experience the cool field trips makes me feel sad, because it was like the North Carolina State Fair and like the western part of North Carolina, the Appalachian Mountains was like an 8th grade field trip type of thing. And one of the things that they took us one year, and they always used to take us, was the Outer Banks. We would go on a ferry. It was a whole day excursion. Like, you would leave like an hour before school started and you wouldn't get back to like a couple hours after school ended. It was super fun, and we would ride, like, ferries. So I've rode ferries, went to these remote islands and stuff like that. I've never had a mermaid experience. I don't know what would happen if I did. I feel like it would very much explode my mind.
Now, some of the footage I was apparently caught of a mermaid, right, in a fisherman's net, right? Yeah. All they captured was a hand.
Oh, a hand?
Or arm and a hand, right? And the hand looked like ours, right? 5 fingers, but between each finger was giant webbing, and the skin was like bluish gray.
You want to know something interesting?
I'd give you that piece of advice, and that's your next point.
Yeah, because it talks about webbed.
Oh.
I have a webbed toe.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. It's not very noticeable, but it is webbed.
Yeah.
Learned that in biology. Because we were talking about, like, different traits and stuff, and, like, how people can have webbed toes, because it's technically, like, a malfunction. Not malfunction, but a malfunction.
Mutation.
But, like, mutation, there you go. And, yeah, like, the third toe from the big toe, that one, another one's kind of webbed. Not like bad, like where you're like, damn, girl, you got some webbed toes, you know?
Well, there's people that have webbed feet.
Yeah. So, wonder maybe I'm a descendant of a mermaid.
They just had a mutation happen.
Yeah.
Or.
Yes.
That's obviously the evolution that some of our bloodline went into. Of humans, anyway. And mermaids.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting.
But the horror that comes to the deep, because I can't. I've been afraid of the ocean my entire life, so I haven't really any stories to me going out to sea. Mm-hmm. So, from personal experience, I got none.
Yeah.
But, I think I'm going to come with this point. The horrors of the deep or horrors of the ocean, when it comes to the entire thought of it, it's beyond terrifying when you really think about it. That majority of the time the humans spent on the sea is on the surface. Yeah. Always on the surface or near it. Never deep within it. And the ones that do, I mean, obviously you're in a metal tube as far as you can go down, a submarine, stuff like that. Divers consistently always have some story to tell you about something scary happening, something like that. Because humans, as we are, never meant to go that far down.
Yeah.
My uncle, she cave dives and goes in the caves and like
Which
deep
one's
ones.
That?
Paul.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's like his hobby is deep sea diving. He doesn't go to the oceans much. He mostly goes to lakes.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that either.
He lives in the Kansas area, so you can't have really much choices of beaches.
Yeah.
But he tells me that the whole art of doing it is extremely stressful if you're unable to handle it. And if the second that something goes wrong, you can't panic.
Oh, yeah.
Because you'll burn through your oxygen and you'll basically suffocate down there. Ooh. Especially when you're about a good mile down, right? And you have ever so amount of oxygen left in your tank. And you got to bring more than one, especially how farther you go. He brings 2 tanks with him.
Dang.
Right? Mm-hmm. And it takes an immense amount of training, right? No one can, it takes years in to buy the proper equipment and stuff like that. So it's a tough hobby, but it's a hobby that he liked. And it took him a long time to get actually good at it, that he can actually teach people now.
Wow.
But that goes to show that we weren't meant to go down there.
Yeah.
But when we start going down, we start putting effort into it, right? Maybe Elon Musk will want to go down instead of go up.
True.
Right?
Weird.
Yeah. But, I mean, essentially, when you, what was I saying? Anyway, no, essentially humans were never meant to go that far down.
Yeah. Scary stuff.
And especially, there's a lot of stuff that we might discover as farther we go down. That's what I was saying. Yeah. If we go farther down, we'll start discovering things, creatures, hell, even maybe solutions of things that we didn't even think about that are down there. But with that, let's draw for next episode.
Yep.
All right, let's see. Okay, what is this? Ghosts.
So ghosts.
Oh, okay. Now we talking about when we put this together. With basically ghosts, and it said the subject will be about the history of
ghosts,
the psychology of them, and the science of them. Basically, just not necessarily ghost stories, but about ghosts.
Yeah. Right.
And theories and things around them.
Yeah. What? No, I'm just agreeing. I didn't really have anything else to add.
Okay.
So I was just like, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about ghosts. I know we've talked about ghosts before in our ghost stories, but we're basically just telling our experiences.
Yeah, it's more of an experience thing, not like the breakdown. The breakdown. Down.
Stop it.
Okay, sorry. Got carried away.
I know it's your birthday, so don't stop acting like that.
Yeah, it is my birthday. I'm 26. Yay. 4 years away from being 30. Yay.
Ain't that bad.
Yeah, no. Apparently, they say that your 30s is like the best set of years. Like you're, you know.
I beg to differ.
Oh, because you started breaking down.
Turning 30 is like having your hands tied behind your back and someone pushing you off a cliff.
Oh my gosh.
Good luck! Yeah. Anyway, next episode, all about ghosts.
Yeah, so we'll catch you
weirdos later.